listening to Disc Review with Matt and Max. Enjoy.
Okay, hello. Welcome to the second episode of Disc Review. We got a pretty lengthy album to talk about today, so hopefully we can talk about it in a timely manner. But I'm Max, and I got Matt talking with me here.
Hello, welcome back.
Yeah, hopefully. I wanted to mention at the beginning of this, if anyone is listening to this, please drop a comment and let us know that you exist, because the last episode I noticed that we had some people listening at the beginning and kind of trailed off and didn't listen to the whole thing. I just want to know that you're real and that it's not just me clicking on the video over and over to see how many views it has.
Yeah, let us know what you like about it and what keeps you around and keeps you listening. We're hoping to keep getting better at this and provide an entertaining experience here. But yeah, what are you listening to this week, Max?
Well, the thing I've been listening to most, I won't talk about because I think it's gonna be what we talk about next week.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
But there's been a lot of new singles coming out for bands that I enjoy, like Memphis Mayfire and Wage War. I got like 3 or 4 bands on the verge of popping out new albums. So I've been kind of listening to some heavy music. Like Wage War put out a single called Teeth, and it's a banger and a half. So I've been listening to that a lot. That and the other thing, which we'll talk about next week, which is not metal at all and totally different. But it's awesome. What about you?
I've been listening to some really good stuff. One of which we will talk about. I don't know what week. But it's 100 Gex hyper pop is the genre, and I don't know. It's very interesting music. You never even like it. I don't know if you ever heard that genre of music.
No.
You're in for a shock. Don't even listen to it until it's a week, for the record.
Okay. I want to be surprised.
That one will be more surprising than some other weeks. But yeah, I mean I've already heard it before, but I hadn't gone through the whole album. I'd only heard a couple of them. Went through the whole album while I was at work, and it was, all of them were great, and that would definitely confirm for me. We're going to talk about that, and but for this week we're talking about my favorite band, 1975. We're just going to start at the top here. We're going to start with their debut album, which is their self-titled. And
the fact that it's self-titled is funny to me, not because, I mean, lots of bands do self-titled, but the very first song is also 1975, which is so bold. They
make it very confusing, yes. And every single album has their first song titled the 1975 too. So
I think that I mean, they're a very popular band, so obviously they're doing something right. But geez, is that confusing? I searched because I wanted to read the lyrics as I was listening to all these songs. This was my first time listening to this album, by the way. I've heard obviously I've heard Chocolate on the radio, and I've heard some songs Hanging Out With You. But I have never just sat down and listened to their album. So I searched the first song, 1975, and it took me a second to figure out which video I was supposed to click on.
I mean it's their intro song to the record. It's always got the same lyrics, and but they do different renditions of it, and this one's definitely, since this is the first, it's the most classic version of that, probably. Sure. The vision they went in with originally, and then they kind of just did kind of new renditions of it going on. But I mean, not much really to say about it. It's just atmospheric, really, and the lyrics are just being edgy, and I mean, a lot of this album feels like teen angst to me. But in a good way, in a way that like, yeah, I mean, I started listening to it as a teenager, and I think it really fits, that feeling, this whole record does. So,
Well, I think the atmosphere songs, and that's not like a real term, I guess. What I mean by that is the songs. Yeah, the songs that are placed in there mainly to prepare you for the next song or make you feel something real quick, like interludes or intros.
They're valid.
Think
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
I think that they're very valuable. They add to the experience, and it shows that it's not just a bunch of songs that they wrote compiled into a group called an album. It's an experience that they're trying to produce.
I like the cohesive experience album. So yes, I agree with that completely, and I think a lot of the records we're going to talk about do have that that cohesive nature, because that's, you know, we're going to appreciate that, and I think it's a great album for it. But we can move on here.
Well, before we dive too deep into the songs, I wanted to talk about the band for just a second.
Yeah.
Doing quick research, I noticed that this is their first album, but they had been a band for like 10 years before this album came out, which is pretty impressive, to be honest.
I mean, as I understand it, they were like a high school band. Yeah. Basically. And just kind of, I mean, I think they underwent a name change and just kind of transitioned into, into this project. And yeah, they put out some EPs. I actually don't remember if they had a record label at all, or like who produced those. But I mean, they joined Dirty Hit Records, and they've been under them ever since. And I imagine they will never leave. They seem very happy there. And but yeah, I mean, this feels, a lot of these songs were written by them like when they were really young. These are old songs. Some of these songs were on EPs earlier, and they either redid it. Yeah, they either redid some versions, and like you can find videos of Maddie playing some of these songs like really, really young. So a lot of these are old songs, and I mean, they're still well written, but yeah, I mean, they're not like brand new out of the box, some of these, for the record here.
Yeah, well, and for a lot of people listening, they probably would assume this is like a new band. You know, they release their first album, they start hearing some of the songs on the radio, and they start talking to their friends about this new band, the 1975. But they've been around for a decade, working their butts off, and now they're finally getting the recognition, which I think is a testament to just how hard you have to work to do anything in the music industry. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the people who are grinding on their work and their success. I mean, you got to be doing that if you want to get that lucky break. In music, it is not easy. And I mean, the Next 85 have experienced a lot of success. I mean, it was kind of like once they got to that first record, it kind of blew up, and they went far from there. But yeah, getting to even that first step is not easy.
Yeah, and there's years of work that no one will ever see or recognize, but is pretty impressive to me.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's all that I wanted to. We can move on to the tracks now.
Sure. The City is the is the first track here, the first real song here, and that was an EP song that they did. And I think they did remake it one more time, and that's the version you see on here. To me, I don't know every single thing that this song is about. I think the drums are really, really interesting. That's what hooks everyone on this song, obviously, just right out the gate. And it's got a very steady synth going on underneath. And I don't even know all the lyrics, to be honest.
I don't either, but you're right. The drums stuck out to me. As soon as I pressed play on that song, I was pretty thrown off in a good way, because I had only heard, the classic ones that are on the radio, and I don't know how popular the City was back in the day, but I was like, oh wow, this is this is actually pretty cool sounding. It's cooler than I thought it would be, and it was a good surprise for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see as we go through the record. I mean, they're going to be their most famous sounds are usually going to be like guitar music or like poppy synth, but they like to do different styles here, and this one is definitely one of the more unique ones on this record. And yeah, I mean, this gives very different vibes than some of their other songs here. Some of them are this one feels a lot more.
It's high energy.
Yeah, but it's just like darker and more mysterious with what it's even about than some of these other ones that you can figure out really immediately.
Yeah. What were the singles on this record that they put out? I know it was.
This was one.
This was one?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other ones were, I think. Geez, I'm blanking now. Was Chocolate one of them? Or
so
it might
technically
have been
no,
and,
but
and
yeah,
another.
Girls, Robbers.
Yes, I think it was Girls.
Girls is the first song I ever heard from them, and I can save it for talking about that when we get there. But
I just wanted to bring up which ones were the singles, because I think that matters. It shows which ones the band thought was important for everyone to hear first. But I think the city is high energy enough to definitely warrant being a single.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say about this one. It's one of the ones I listen to less. I mostly go there for the for the sound, for the instrumental, and I know a couple of the lyrics that are kind of fun. I love the one, "Counting cars was the best job you ever had." I don't know. That's just an interesting line to me. I think it's I think it's funny.
Something I noticed about the 1975 is a lot of their songs. I listen to it and I'm like, I kind of have no idea what they're saying, but I also kind of like the lines. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it means all the time, but I think that they sound cool. So
yes, and I think this record and then some of the EP songs, that's kind of the vibe they're going for. It's just like interesting lines, but not always giving you all the context. You really got to read into it, and I just haven't done my homework on this one. Some other ones I've kind of tried to read behind the lines, but not on this one. But
let's move on then.
Next one is Money, which is probably one of my least favorite songs of theirs. I'm sorry, I know some people
I agree with you, and I think not only is it one of the weakest songs on the record, it's one of the weirdest songs. It's
and I've heard him use this metaphor in other songs where money is code for the for a drug. So and I believe that is the point on this song. I mean, a lot of this is talking about like going out and partying and he's talking about has he got enough money to spend, and it seems like that's more of a metaphor than
well, this song brought up to me more questions than answers. My first question, what's the line? I don't know it exactly. It's like describing the guy, and one of the characteristics of this guy is he likes to get blown, and I thought that was the funniest line I have maybe ever heard, because newsflash, everybody does. It's not really a defining feature, but I think it's so funny that they threw it in there.
He is talking about that a lot, and I mean it's hard to tell if he's trying to make a euphemism with that, because I think he's trying to say also get in the term blow, which is also another term for drug, what he's talking about. So I feel like he's trying to be funny and do that on purpose, because I mean the line is to feed the nose. So he likes to do little sly euphemism there. I think that'll come up many times throughout this all their songs. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, this one's more of just like a chaotic energy song. And I mean, some of the lyrics are funny. Talking about he's sleeping in his car and he's walking on with bloody nose.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough of what he needs. I mean, drugs are going to be a long running theme through a lot of these songs.
Yeah. Another quick question I had is the song title is Money in all caps, but it's got periods in between the letters suggesting that it's an acronym. But
you know what?
It doesn't ever seem like they like explain what that acronym is, or if it's even meant to be an acronym, or if they just liked how it looked. I don't know. I was waiting for the line that was going to spell out money, but I didn't hear one.
I think the only thing that I can think of is that they spell out money in the song, right? It's kind of like a chant
in the bridge.
And I think that they kind of took it from there and liked the stylistic look. As far as an acronym goes, I have no idea.
The part you're talking about, the bridge where they say MONEY's me.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea what that means. I thought about it over and over, and I was like, I got nothing.
It feels, yeah. I think it's like it is me. The drug is me, kind of.
Sure.
Is what they're saying. Like, but I mean, that's me just trying to guess for sure.
Sure.
That definitely. I mean, I don't think that. On top of all what we've said, I don't think it's the catchiest song they've done, and that's why it doesn't stick around. I mean, that's very important for how much people are going to remember their song. And anyways, I don't have much more to say on Money. Chocolate, though, I mean, like you said, everyone's heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
I mean, it's them at their most British. But I actually don't think in a bad way. I think it's kind of fun now. Like,
it's charming for sure.
It gives it a charm. He's not always doing that thick of a British accent in his songs, and I know people like to joke about this one, about how every single word sounds super British, but it's super catchy. That's what this song has. I mean, you write a song like this early in your career, it's that catchy. Yeah, I understand. You want to keep using that and put it on your record. That song is an absolute hit for sure.
Well, if this song wasn't on the album, who knows where this band would be? They had. I think they have a lot of popular songs, and that's for sure. And they would still be a big band, but would they be as big without Chocolate? I don't know. That was the
Everybody
first song
needs to
I
have
ever heard by
hits.
them, and I just heard it on the radio.
Everybody needs to have hits, and this is one of the early big hits. I also remember hearing this song well before I knew what the band even was. And yeah, it's immediately catchy. Looking into what the songs actually talk about, I'm pretty sure they've said that chocolate is a metaphor for a different drug, actually, this time.
Right, yeah.
And it's just kind of about, like I said, that teenage angst. You're driving around with your dudes running from the law, doing whatever you want. That's kind of the atmosphere, and it's going for here.
Yeah, from what I read, they were kind of saying that it was supposed to encapsulate what it felt like to be, kind of a troublemaking teen who just wants to, is bored and wants to go find something to mess up or get in trouble in, which we've all been there, and we understand that feeling. And so I think the song everyone can relate to it at least a little bit. Do I have a gun in my petticoat? No, but
No.
Do I like the line? Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, I get that, and I think that's why it is so relatable and fun to listen to as a teenager who has those feelings. But I think it's still catchy enough to hold up, and I still really like it. Beyond that, not much else to say. We can move on to track number 5, Sex, which
this is one of my favorites.
I think it's great. I mean, it's more of a rock song than all these other ones, and listen, when I saw them live, this song was so fun to watch performed. I mean, they've got when that guitar really breaks down and they're you know, strumming down super hard. I mean, they got the lights flashing, you know, super bright, super fast going with it. I mean, it crescendos very well. I think the song is really fun to listen to, and it also has kind of like what you said, where it's like just lines that are great on their own, and not necessarily like weaving in a perfect story together. You just hear this one line, you're like, oh, this one's great, you know?
Yeah. I love the line about the guy who's not very good looking, but he still looks cool. That one makes me laugh.
Yeah. Let me
This song though, is about a crazy lady, I think, in my opinion. I think the dude's crazy, or the protagonist, because he's mad about not being able to get with a girl who already has a boyfriend. Yeah.
So
no, you're right.
I mean, this whole situation is really insane, but
I think what's insane about the girl is not the fact that she is obviously not being faithful to her boyfriend, but that she draws the line at sex. I think that it's funny that she's fine with taking clothes off in the back of his car, but you know, when it comes time to go through with it, she's like, well, but I have a boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Wouldn't want to cheat on him.
They're both I mean, yeah, and it's also it's capturing that teenage recklessness again, which I think is the common theme on this record of, yeah, I mean, there's people just doing these reckless things and not thinking about the consequences.
Well, something that really makes this song interesting to me is it has that classic love song feel, but it interjects the line, she's got a boyfriend anyways. So it kind of it throws it for a whole nother type of loop, where you're like you're listening to this guy sing about this girl that he obviously really likes. They're having this fast relationship. And also she has a boyfriend. And then he keeps singing about how much he likes her and how great it's going, and she's got a boyfriend. I think that's a really interesting take.
Yeah, I think I think it makes the song more interesting. Yeah, than I mean, we've all heard a thousand love songs, and then when there's a unique take on it, I think people like it. I think it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this song's a great. This song is another one they did for the EP, and one what I was talking about, I've heard him playing it from a long time ago. I think they've had this song for a while, and this one, the album version, is definitely their best produced, and really captures this song well. But anyway,
yep.
We can move on
fun
to
fact about the music video for Sex is that it was the first 1975 music video to be shot in color. The rest were all shot in black and white.
Yeah, yep, the black and white.
Which will come up again later, but I'll let that be.
Yeah, what do you think of the album cover? Because that's a big part of their band.
I like it a lot. I think that it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's phenomenal. I think that and I don't know if you've seen the cover for their next album. It's the same box with the the neon, but just in different colors. I love that. They dropped it after the second one. I think they should have kept it around. I just think it looks so interesting. And I like really how it can connect the albums across, the years. But I think the album cover is a big reason. It really helped sell them. I think having an interesting and unique album cover is important. And
I almost exclusively click on albums on Spotify that have cool album covers.
Yeah, I really think that this helped them gain even more success. Was just picking a great one. So. Anyways, as far as talk goes, not the most memorable song, and it clearly feels like just one that was written just in the style of the record, and
I didn't care for it, to be honest.
It's catchy enough, but I don't think there's any of those lines we were talking about. Like, oh, it's a line I want to come back to. It's kind of just. It's kind of like the style of the record put into one song and just kind of thrown on. To me, that's how it feels. I don't hate it, but it's not one I think of I sometimes forget it's on there.
Well, yeah, I think none of these songs are really hateable. I think that they're all well produced, well written. They're just not all winners, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's just because this one wasn't really trying to do anything different, really.
Yeah.
And it shows a little bit, and why we're not remembering even that much about it. Anyways, an encounter is just an instrumental. This next
another one of those
track.
atmospheric songs.
Yeah, I mean it's fine. All of the instrumentals on here are good, but I think on their next record, their instrumentals are more unique and stand out, and are ones that I would have more to talk about. These ones are just like, very a lot more simple and not trying to do anything different than each other. Really, they're just kind of interludes that kind of sound similar to me.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we can move on to, I don't even know what track number we're on anymore, but Heart Out, which is, I think this one was a single.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they have a music video for this one too and stuff. So I'm pretty sure.
I didn't see that one.
I mean, it's got a great synth.
There's a couple songs on here that I'm having a hard time remembering that weren't as interesting to me, and I think this is one of them. It's not my favorite, I would say. It's got a great synth at the beginning, and it's definitely got the classic guitar music feel on top of that, and but I mean it's got one line that I think I remembers, and beyond that, I don't even recognize any rest of these lines that I'm reading here. I mean, it's got a okay enough chorus, and I like it, but I wouldn't say I love it compared to some of these other songs coming up, which I think we're entering the best string of songs coming up. There's some really good ones coming up here,
yeah.
And the next one, Settle Down, is the verses aren't very memorable to me, but the chorus, him singing "Settle Down" in his British accent, that'll be forever seared into my brain.
I love "Settle Down." I think it's one of those. When I was first listening to the record, I kind of didn't think anything of it, but as time's going on, this one has risen up the ranks for me. I think it's got super British accents sometimes and vibes, but I think it's super catchy. I don't even know most of the lyrics, but then when I start singing along to the song, for some reason I know most of them. It's super weird to me. I only know the lyrics in the context of the song. I couldn't even tell you what the song is even about, but it is the chorus, right? The "Settle Down" chorus is super catchy. You can't be mad.
That's like when you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance in class, but you can't
Basically
remember how it goes until someone says the first word.
Yes. I mean, this song kind of has some of he likes to do the repeat lyrics thing across albums.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And
actually.
yeah, and like keep a through line. Mostly, it's definitely on this next record. I mean, this one has some of them. What a letdown! I know "Letdown" comes back. Covering up her face. That's another one that comes back several times. Let me make sure. But other than that, it feels similar vibes to songs like "Chocolate," "Hard Out," "Sex." Yeah, I just feel like it fits really well on the record, and this one stands out more as one of just a super catchy version of kind of what the sound of this album is. So.
Yep.
That's about all I have to say on that one.
Yep. Next we got Robbers, and if I'm not mistaken, Robbers is still one of their most famous songs, right?
I think so. I think the Robbers is one of the songs that had me stick around to them, instead of just liking the record and moving on,
Right.
This song kind of ascends to like one where it can kind of get a cult following with how unique and how good the lyrics are, and how much you can relate to what is being said.
Yep.
And I really like this song. Let me.
Yeah, Robbers. I was surprised because when I opened up 1975's their profile on Spotify, I noticed that it was the 5th most popular song by them, and I had never heard of it. And so I was like, that's really... I expected Chocolate to be at least, one of their first 5 most popular, but it's not even on the list. They got a bunch of their newer songs are a lot higher, and then Robbers is still number 5.
That is interesting. Yeah, I think it's probably... This is one long-term fans are going to come back to the most from this record. That's what I think it is. So
yeah, because it's not the most the way they calculate it is it's not what's listened to most often right now, but it's an equation that has to do with how long the song's been out and how many how many listens it's getting in that time. And so it's kind of complicated, but it's also kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just assumed it was what was popular this month. But that's cool. Yeah, I mean, this song it's similar, vibes to Chocolate, like we were saying, where they're kind of running from the law again. I think this one it really brings that theme even further, in a good way, and has a ton of great lines. She had a face straight out of a magazine, God only knows, but you'll never leave her, is such a great way to start this song. That's it's melancholy and sad, but it's got a lot of energy. Yeah. I love it's really simple, but just that guitar, little 4 notes right there, it's iconic to me. That plays throughout basically the entire song. And I guess I would just close it on saying my favorite part of the song is just the ending refrain. Just "You look so cool." I don't know why. I think it's great. And when it was played live, I mean, he goes very hard on those last ending lines there. And
sometimes small lines that seem to have no meaning hit you the hardest, and it's really weird.
Yeah, and this one, I think does all of that very well. And anyways, we can move on to, I believe we're on 11 now. Girls, which is the first time I've ever heard from them.
This song is great, and this coming from someone who doesn't listen to this style of music at all, I really enjoyed this song, and I really enjoyed the music video, and I kind of went down a rabbit hole learning about this song. But anyways, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, yeah, it is absurdly catchy with some great memorable lyrics. And yeah, I think it's I mean, the guitar is super unique, and very interestingly written. And I think it's fun to jam out to. I like the extended outro of just strumming that guitar. It's one of those songs you feel like you can move along with. And and on top of that, the lyrics are actually pretty interesting. And like you said with the music video, I think it's funny to take a theme like that and kind of play with it a little bit. It's not really about what the music video is about, but
the music video is funny to me because I mentioned before how earlier on the record they had put out a music video that was in color, and people were kind of shocked by this. And there was actually, from what I read online, was a little bit of backlash of people thinking that 1975, they just signed with this big record label and now they're selling out. Now they're just doing whatever the record label wants them to. And they said that they made this music video specifically to make fun of that idea that they were selling out. They made it super bright colored, a bunch of girls in their underwear dancing around, and everything you expect from a big out of touch record label trying to push records
Yeah.
and sales. And I think it's so funny at the very beginning of the music video, they're all dressed in black and they just look so
Yeah.
bored out of their minds, like they do not want to be there. And they're like, this is all wrong. For first, first
Yeah.
of all, this has got to be in black and white. And I think
Yeah.
that was pretty meta and that was pretty funny. And on top of it, the music video is really cool.
Yeah, I honestly, you're reminding me. I think a lot of the music videos are good and interesting. And yeah, that one is very funny. They're like, we're not even a pop band. Like, what are we what are we doing? And then it just starts. You're in
Yeah.
it. And yeah, this song is super memorable, and I think it's probably the number one way that people get into this band. At least when this was their newer stuff.
Yeah.
This one
might be
feels like
my
the
favorite
biggest
song
single.
on the album.
Yeah, I think
It's
that's
hard for me to
totally-
say because there's a couple that
Yeah.
kind of fight for it, but I think this one might be it.
No, I mean that's an easy pick, and like I probably agree. I'll have to think about it, but yeah, Girls is great, and definitely just immediately this is a single. This is a song that is just really catchy and great. But anyways, number 12 is also called 12, and it's an
Yep.
instrumental. I don't even remember it really. And I don't really have much to say on this album's instrumentals.
Yeah,
but they're
I think,
fine.
I think it's I don't know. It's hard to put titles to songs that have no lyrics.
Yeah,
And I've had the exact same thought of, well, what if I just titled this track the number of the
it's just
track
kind
it
of
was?
funny.
I think it's a good idea. It's not totally original, but it's not a bad
Yeah,
idea, and I
it's-
think it's fine.
Yeah, it's fun for what it is, and but the next song is "She Way Out," which I think is pretty memorable as far as this record goes.
Mainly what I remember from this song is me sitting there looking at the song title while the song was playing and me thinking, what
Yeah.
does that mean?
Yeah,
the
I
entire
also
time.
agree.
I can't even figure out how to say it right to where it would make sense to my brain. But yeah, that's mainly what I remember from listening to that song.
It definitely has. It shouldn't be a weird title, but it is. It's very strange. I mean, it's because she way out dancing like she way out. I don't know what that means. Is she out of his league?
She is way out, and she is matter of factly dancing like she's way out.
Yeah. The part I remember from the song is she's got two-tone everything, and she's also got two phones everything. I think I like that rhyme.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I didn't even catch that line, but that's funny.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, it's got some good standout lyrics, but yeah, it's I think it's kind of in the league of kind of like Heart Out and maybe Talk of like they're good songs, but not necessarily the most memorable. Like they're just solid. But anyways, Menswear. What do you think of Menswear?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember Menswear.
Menswear has this extended instrumental intro for, I actually don't know how long off the top of my head, 2 minutes, like long, and then it hits with a not really like a chorus verse, but just an extended verse, kind of ramble about a man at a wedding doing drugs and causing a whole lot of ruckus. I think it's fun and really unique.
I think I love instruments, don't get me wrong, and I love instrumentals, but I love lyrics and vocals the most.
Yeah.
And any song, even by bands that I really, really like, if they take too long to get to the vocals, at the beginning of the song, it really bugs me.
I think they can lose people on this one. Yeah, it's a little long. It's a lot.
Because I just want to get to the good stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get to the story of it all. And that is weird to say because I love guitar, I love piano, I love drums, and it's it just loses me a little bit when the vocals are gone sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's a long. I would have to think more about what were they trying to do artistically? Was it just doing it to do it, or did they have a meaning behind it? I actually haven't put in the work to look into that, but I just think the parts with lyrics are really really solid. I do think it's I worry that people getting lost on that song, having to wait that long for what is a good song, but just kind of hidden behind a lot of kind of some of it's just completely silent sometimes. I mean, it's not even a very like crazy instrumental. It's very very muted and quiet, and that can definitely lose people.
And what I get from that is that they are not afraid to just make the music they want to make, which is very respectable, but it's not always the best move if you're trying to if you want to just make the best record that everyone loves. It's not always the best move, but
there's a balance to it.
There's definitely if you're staying true to yourself and you're making the music that you want to make, I can't hate on that, and I think that there's value in that, and you're gonna hit a smaller demographic that really loves it, and you're gonna miss some people along the way, and that's fine if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I agree, but we'll move on here to Pressure. This is the 15th track, and I think actually one of the better songs here as we start to close out the album. I think it has great lyrics, and I think it's pretty catchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember enjoying this one. I think that the length of the album
it takes a toll. Yeah,
it takes a toll, and it starts to make me not be able to pay attention as much as I want to, and so some of the songs kind of blend together for me. And if you're a fan of the band and you listen to the record all the time, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All that means is more content. For a first-time listener, it was by the time I got to Pressure, I remember even I was driving in my car while I was listening to it, and I was singing along to the chorus because it was really catchy. But I was definitely starting to feel like these songs were starting to melt together in my brain, and I don't know how much I'm going to remember.
Yeah, I feel like for a first-time listen, you kind of get to Girls, and it kind of, that's kind of where your interest is it might wane a little bit. I mean, you get to 12 instrumental, and then you got a couple, it kind of feels like an outro section of songs here. And I could see how, by that outro section, you could start getting lost. It's a lot of songs. Some of the records are even longer, and I have plenty to say about that.
I think we should do a bonus episode sometime of just talking about like what is the best album length? Is there a best album length, or what does that mean? Because I feel like sometimes a band will put out an album with a bunch of songs, and I'm like so hyped because that means I just have so much content to listen to. And sometimes I'm super content with 10 songs because I feel like they really wrap together well. So.
And I mean, I think probably we'll lean to, quality is better than quantity. And the 1975, at least, most of the time, I think they are putting quality before quantity, but they do like that quantity. They also want to put out a lot of music because they kind of set that precedent. But I mean, I'd prefer just everything to be as good as possible and keep it short. But as far as Pressure goes, I think it is a good song. I think it's kind of I just kind of put at the end, which kind of hurts it a little bit since it's kind of stuck in this end little outro block. Even though I think it's honestly one of the better songs. I think it's got great lyrics. It's talking about how he feels about fame, becoming famous, and how makes you feel. He's living in a house with only 3 walls. I love that line.
That is a great line.
And just talking about how he's famous, but if his heart stopped beating, he died just the same way, and I think that's really interesting. I think it's a good song, and I do think it probably could have been moved around a little bit on the record.
Yeah.
But
one last thing about quality over quantity. I think that it's definitely the trend in mainstream media now to put out albums with just an insane amount of tracks, especially with like rappers. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us listen to that much rap, but you open up a popular rapper's album, and there's like 30 to 40 songs on there, and it's kind of overwhelming. And I think that when you get to the point where you have so much money and so much talent and so many people around you who want to help you make a good product, you can get quantity and quality.
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say long records aren't bad.
It's a complex discussion. Yeah. I think there's not one right way to do anything really in art. So
yeah.
But we're here to try to get to the bottom of that. So I think it's a fun discussion to have. But we can go ahead and close out the album here with track 16. It's just a sad piano song. I think it's somewhat interesting because it's not just a normal love song. This one's about another one kind of similar in theme of he's famous and gone all the time. So how is he going to be there for his family and his brother, I believe, is what he's talking about in this song.
This is one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah.
It's a weird song, and it doesn't follow one of those formats that most songs follow. It's and I can see how that could turn a lot of people off and just be like, oh, this song doesn't even feel like the rest of the record. It's sad. It's slow. And it's short, right? I don't remember how long it is, but it's not that long.
Not long.
So I can see a lot of people not caring about this song. For me, I liked a lot of the songs on this album, but this was the only one that made me this one made me feel a lot, and I really liked that about it.
Yeah, I think it's a well-written song, and an impressive departure from the style of the rest of the record, which is mostly guitar. It kind of shows, I mean, they can do a lot more than just one thing, and I think that kind of states that here at the end of the record. And I also really like the song, and it's one I come back to when I go back through this record. So anyways, we can just final thoughts, close up the record here.
Yep. I want to hear your final thoughts and your score for this record first.
No, for sure. As a 1975 fan, I mean, this is their second record, was the one that got me into them and made me fans. And I love record. I came back to this first one. I was like, wow, there's some great bops in here. I feel like this record sounds and feels very 2013. The year it came out, it feels very much of that era. And I think there's some solid songs to pick off and carry on, and they still perform those ones live. They kind of have to now. Chocolate, they're going to be performing that song for the rest of their life. But I think it's I think it's solid. I think I like some of their other records more now. I think they've grown as a band, but a really solid debut album. For your debut album to be this good is honestly tough, and it's kind of what you need to be a popular band. I would probably go ahead and say 7.5 for me.
Yeah, that's a good score. I think I'm gonna go slightly lower, and I'll give you my reasons why. I'm trying to look at this. Music is obviously very subjective, but I'm trying to look at it slightly more objective, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
As I'm trying not to let the fact that this is definitely not my style of music affect what I think about how good or not good the album is. I think that some good things about the album, it is, like you said, a really impressive debut album.
Yeah.
To get famous off of your first album is wildly impressive. There are bands that put out 3-4 albums before anyone even notices them.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Another thing that's awesome is the atmosphere that they build. I love that. I love any band that takes the time to make their record more than a group of songs. I think that it's got a handful of songs that I think are just objectively well written and fun to listen to. That being said, I don't think all the songs are great. I think that there's some that don't stand out to me very much.
I agree.
And so I think that I'm gonna give this a 6.
I is perfectly valid. Yeah.
It's a better than average album. I'd say that your average album is not this good, but it's only slightly better, in my opinion.
I agree. I think the record gets weighed down by the weaker songs, and I think that might be a through line here as we approach some of the other albums here. I think that they've set this precedent and they're kind of locked in, but I kind of would like to see them, just tighten it a little bit. And it's like, it's weird to say that because if you're a fan of something, wouldn't you just want more content? But I think, it's harder to give the album an objectively higher score when there are weaker parts to it. It's just tough. Like it makes it harder. When you think back on the album, I think that if they tighten it up a little bit, I think, it would make the album as a whole better, which is weird to say and weird to think, but I think you nailed the criticisms right on the head with it, and look forward to being able to talk about them more again, on some later episodes.
I also want to end this by saying, there are for sure plenty of people out there who love this record, plenty of people who don't like it at all. There are probably a handful of people who think this is the best album ever written, and that is just because it's subjective. We all like different things, and everything means something different to people. So I don't want anyone to, if anyone listened to this far into the episode, I don't want them to be bummed out that we didn't give this a 10 out of 10 because it's your favorite album ever and you love the 1975. Even if we gave it a super low score, which we didn't, I think that you have to develop a thick skin when it comes to music. Yeah, you do. I know that the style of music I like to listen to is not super popular at all. And it took that, when I was a kid, that I struggled with that because I wanted to share my music with everyone. And I felt like a lot of people did not want to hear heavy music, and that's fine. It took me a while to realize that that's fine. And so that's all I wanted to say. Don't be bummed out if you love this and we didn't give it a 10 out of 10. It's a good album for sure. Yeah, I mean, we have to we try and approach things from the middle of both camps and not try and I didn't want to let my personal bias affect it too much. Neither did you, and that's kind of the nature of reviewing music. I think that music is different things to everybody. I bet you every song, maybe every song on this record is someone's favorite song, and that's just how it is. But we want to try and meet in the middle here. But I really enjoyed this conversation. Yeah, I'm happy with where we landed on it, and I look forward to next week. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thank you so much. Please like, please subscribe, please do anything. We want to interact with you, and we want to keep doing this. So, thank you. Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.